Jin looked out the viewport as the transport ship approached the Galactic Academy of Scientific Excellence. The space station was massive, a gleaming wheel of metal and glass spinning slowly to create artificial gravity. Hundreds of ships of all shapes and sizes docked at its many ports. "First time seeing it?" asked the pilot, a blue-skinned being with 4 arms. "Yes," Jin said. "It's bigger than I thought." The pilot laughed. "Wait until you're inside. The place is huge. You humans don't build things this big yet, right?" Jin just nodded. He was used to comments like this. Humans were newcomers to the Galactic Alliance. Most aliens thought Earth was a simple, backward planet. The ship docked with a soft thud. Jin grabbed his bag and stepped into the arrival area. The air smelled clean but strange, like hospitals back on Earth. A screen on the wall flashed his name. Jin Earth, proceed to orientation. Jin followed the signs to a large room where new students gathered. He was the only human there. Some students had tentacles, others floated in the air. One looked like a tree with eyes. "Jin, over here!" Jin smiled when he saw Hana, his cousin. She had been at the academy for a year already. She looked different in her academy uniform, more confident. "I'm so glad you made it," Hana said, hugging him. "How was the trip?" "Long," Jin said. 20. Days in space is no fun." "You'll get used to space travel," Hana said. "Come on, I'll show you to your room before orientation starts." As they walked, Jin noticed other students staring at him. Some pointed and whispered. "Why are they looking at me?" Jin asked. "Humans are rare here," Hana explained. "Less than 30 of us in the whole academy. Most species joined the Alliance centuries ago. We've only been members for 8 years. Jin's room was small but comfortable. A bed, desk, and storage unit were built into the walls. The window showed a view of stars and the edge of a nearby planet. "That's Harmonia," Hana said, pointing to the planet. "It's neutral territory. That's why they built the academy here." "It's beautiful," Jin said. "Classes start tomorrow," Hana said. "I checked your schedule. We have comparative planetary biology together with Professor Taik. He's human too, from Korea like us. You'll like him." The next morning, Jin found the classroom easily. Students filled the round room, sitting on various types of chairs designed for different body types. Jin took a seat next to Hana. A tall, thin alien with silver skin sat down. On Jin's other side, "Hello," the alien said in a musical voice. "I am Minji. You are from Earth, yes?" "I have never met a human before. I'm Jin," he replied. "Nice to meet you." "Is it true humans need to consume water every day to survive?" Minji asked, her silver eyes wide with curiosity. Before Jin could answer, a deep voice boomed from behind them. "Don't waste your time, Minji. Humans are the most boring species in the Alliance." Jin turned to see a large, blue-skinned student with webbed hands and feet. He stood nearly 7 feet tall and had gill-like structures on his neck. "I am Doyen," the amphibian alien said. "My people, the Aquarians, have been space travelers for 10,000 years. We helped build this academy while humans were still figuring out how to make fire." Jin said nothing. He had been warned about species who looked down on humans. Professor Taik entered the room then. He was an older Korean man with gray hair and kind eyes. "Welcome to comparative planetary biology," he said. "In this class, we will study how different environments shape the evolution of species across our galaxy. To start, I want each of you to introduce yourself and share something interesting about your home planet." Students began to share. Minji explained how her silicon-based people lived on a planet with rivers of liquid metal. Doyen talked about his water world with 3 moons that created complex tides. When it was Jin's turn, he stood up. "I'm Jin from Earth. It's a boring Class 5 planet with primitive technology," Doyen interrupted, causing several students to laugh. Professor Taik frowned. "Doyen, please show respect." "Continue, Jin." Jin nodded. "Earth has many different..." Environments. We have oceans, deserts, forests, and ice caps. Our gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. Jin noticed several students sitting up straighter, looking surprised. We have 4 seasons in many parts of our planet, Jin continued. Temperatures can range from -50 degrees to +50 degrees Celsius, depending on location and time of year. Now the classroom was completely silent. We have about 8.7 million species living on Earth, including about 300,000 different plant species and over 1 million insect species. A student with multiple eye stalks raised a tentacle. Excuse me, but did you say million, not thousand? Yes, million, Jin confirmed. Just the bacteria in our soil can include up to 1 billion different microorganisms per gram. The classroom erupted in whispers. Professor Taik smiled slightly. Thank you, Jin. That was indeed interesting. Now, for our first project, you will research the evolutionary pressures that shaped your own species. What challenges did your ancestors face? How did they adapt? You will present your findings next week. After class, students rushed out, many giving Jin curious glances. Doyen stopped in front of him, looming over Jin. Nice try, Earth Boy, Doyen said. Making up wild stories to seem impressive. No intelligent life could evolve in such chaotic conditions. Everyone knows habitable planets have stable environments. I didn't make anything up, Jin said calmly. Sure, Doyen scoffed. Next, you'll tell us humans drink acid and breathe toxic gases. Jin shrugged. Our oceans are salty, our rain is acidic, and our air contains nitrogen, which would be toxic to some species. It's just normal for us. Doyen's gills flared in anger. You're just a soft creature from a sheltered world trying to sound tough. Your kind bought your way into the Alliance with your quaint little inventions. Professor Taik stepped between them. That's enough, Doyen. I suggest you do proper research before making accusations. Doyen stormed off, followed by several of his friends. Minji approached Jin. Is it really true? About all those species on your planet? Yes, Jin said. In fact, I probably underestimated the numbers. Fascinating, Minji said. Will you tell me more about Earth sometime? Sure, Jin said with a smile, as they left the seat. Classroom, Hana nudged Jin. Well, you certainly made an impression on your first day. I was just telling the truth, Jin said. I know, Hana replied. But you need to understand something. In galactic terms, Earth isn't a normal planet. Most students here come from worlds with carefully balanced ecosystems and limited biodiversity. Their ancestors engineered their planets to be safe and predictable thousands of years ago. And Earth. Hana looked at Jin seriously. They don't know yet, but Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world in galactic records, one of the most dangerous naturally evolved planets with sentient life. And you, cousin, have just started to tell them why. Jin spent the next few days exploring the academy and learning his way around. The space station had many levels, each with different gravity and atmosphere settings to make all students comfortable. Jin stayed mostly in the Earth normal section, where gravity and air were like home. In the academy library, Jin started his research for Professor Taik's evolutionary project. The computer system gave him access to the galactic database. What he found surprised him. Earth. Class 12. Death world. Extreme biodiversity. Constant environmental threats. Rapid climate shifts. Jin read the information with wide eyes. He had never thought of Earth as dangerous. It was just home. Hana found him there, staring at the screen. Finding anything interesting? She asked. Jin pointed to the screen. Did you know about this? That Earth is considered one of the most dangerous planets in the Alliance? Hana nodded. I learned about it last year. It was quite a shock. But why? Jin asked. Earth seems normal to us. That's just it, Hana said. What's normal for us is extreme for most species. The gravity alone would crush many of them, and The idea of billions of microorganisms living on and inside us, it terrifies them. As they talked, Jin noticed a tall figure watching them from behind a bookshelf. It was Do-yoon. The next day in class, Professor Taik announced, "Today we'll start our presentations on evolutionary pressures. Who would like to go first?" To everyone's surprise, Jin raised his hand. "Excellent," Professor Taik said. "Jin, please share your findings." Jin walked to the front of the room and connected his datapad to the main screen. Images of Earth appeared: mountains, oceans, forests, and deserts. Humans evolved on Earth over millions of years, Jin began. Our planet has high gravity, a thin atmosphere, and extreme temperature variations. It has powerful storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, and floods. He showed images of natural disasters. The class grew quiet. Our planet has thousands of predator species. Some are large, like bears and tigers. The screen showed these animals. Others are tiny but deadly, like bacteria and viruses. A student, with glowing tentacles, raised one appendage. "You live with these dangerous creatures?" "Yes," Jin said. "In fact, the human body contains about 100 trillion bacteria at all times. They live on our skin, in our mouths, and in our digestive systems." Several students looked sick at this idea. "Our immune systems fight harmful microbes constantly," Jin continued. "We get infected regularly but usually recover. We carry antibodies against hundreds of diseases we've survived." "Impossible," Do-yoon interrupted. "No intelligent species could evolve while constantly fighting disease." "Actually," Jin said calmly, "these challenges made us stronger. Humans can heal from broken bones, severe cuts, and major infections. We can survive weeks without food, days without water. We can live in deserts, jungles, Arctic regions, and high mountains by adapting our behavior and creating tools." Jin showed more pictures. Humans climbing mountains, diving in oceans, and running long distances. Most impressive is human endurance. We can't run as fast as many animals, but we can run longer. Early humans would chase prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. This is called persistence hunting. The room was completely silent now. Everyone stared at Jin with a mixture of disbelief and horror. When Jin finished, Professor Taik thanked him. "That was very informative, Jin. A perfect example of how environmental pressures shape evolution." As other students presented, Jin noticed many watching him nervously, as if seeing him for the first time. Only Minji seemed more interested than afraid. After class, Do-yoon and his friends blocked Jin's path in the hallway. "Nice story, Earth Boy," Do-yoon said. "Very creative, but I don't believe half of what you said." Jin shrugged. "It's all in the database. You can check it yourself." "I have a better idea," Do-yoon said. "The virtual reality simulation lab. We can experience each other's home planets. If Earth is truly as you describe, you won't mind proving it." Jin hesitated. The VR lab was used for scientific research, not student projects. "Are you afraid your lies will be exposed?" Do-yoon taunted. "I'm not lying," Jin said firmly. "But we need permission to use the VR lab." "Already taken care of," said a new voice. They turned to see Director Junho, the academy administrator, a tall Korean man with stern features. "Professor Taik suggested this might be an educational opportunity," Director Junho said. "I've approved a special session in the VR lab tomorrow. Each of you will experience simulations of different home planets, including Earth." Do-yoon looked surprised but pleased. "Perfect. Then we'll see who's telling the truth." The next day, a small crowd gathered at the VR lab. Jin, Hana, Minji, Do-yoon, and several other students had volunteered for the experience. A mechanical being named Sung-ho operated the controls. "Welcome to the VR simulation lab," Sung-ho said. "These chambers will create a fully immersive experience of different planetary environments. You will feel everything as if you were really there, but safety protocols will prevent any actual harm." Director Junho explained the rules. Each student will experience 3 different planet simulations. Each simulation lasts 15 minutes. You may exit early if you wish. They started with Minji's silicon-based world. The gravity was light, and the air contained almost no oxygen. Rivers of liquid metal flowed between crystal formations. It was beautiful but strange. Next came Doyen's water world. Students floated in warm oceans with 3 moons visible through the clear water. Fish-like creatures swam around them peacefully. Even Jin found it pleasant. "Now," Director Junho announced, "we will experience Earth," Sungho spoke up. "I should warn you that I've set Earth parameters to moderate rather than full reality. Even so, please be careful." The simulation began. They stood in a temperate forest. Sunlight filtered through green trees. Birds called from branches. A gentle breeze blew. "This doesn't seem so bad," said a student with 4 arms. Then they noticed the gravity. Many students struggled to stand upright, their bodies designed for much lighter worlds. Jin and Hana moved normally, used to Earth's pull. "This gravity is crushing me," Doyun complained, his tall frame stooping. "This is normal Earth gravity," Jin explained. "About 9.8 meters per second squared." Next, they felt temperature changes. As simulated clouds covered the sun, the temperature dropped several degrees. Students from worlds with constant climates shivered. "Why does it keep changing?" asked Minji, her silver skin dimming. "Weather," Hana said. "Earth's atmosphere is always moving, creating different conditions." The simulation added light rain. Drops fell from the sky, splashing on leaves and skin. Several students panicked. "Acid!" "It's burning!" screamed one. "It's just water," Jin said. "Rain is normal on Earth." As they walked through the forest, Jin pointed out different plants and insects. The variety overwhelmed the others, who came from worlds with limited species. Suddenly, a crashing sound came from nearby bushes. A large brown bear emerged, sniffing the air. "Everyone stay still," Jin whispered. Doyun stepped forward confidently. "I will communicate with it. On my world, all creatures respond to proper diplomatic signals." He made elaborate gestures toward the bear, which ignored him completely. When Doyun approached closer, the bear rose on its hind legs and roared. Doyun fell backward in shock. "Why doesn't it respond to peaceful signs?" "Because it's a wild animal," Jin said, slowly backing away. "It doesn't understand gestures. It sees you as either a threat or prey." The simulation ended abruptly as several students showed signs of distress. They removed their VR equipment, many looking pale or shaken. Director Junho looked concerned. "Perhaps this was too intense." Doyen sat quietly, his usual confidence gone. He looked at Jin with new eyes. "How," he finally asked, "how do humans survive on such a planet?" Jin smiled slightly. "It's home. We're built for it." "I think," Professor Tyke said, entering the room, "we've all learned something important today about adaptation and evolution, and perhaps about not judging other species too quickly." As they left the lab, Minji caught up with Jin. "Your world is terrifying," she said, "but also amazing. Will you tell me more about it?" "Of course," Jin said. "There's so much more to Earth than one simulation can show." Word of the VR lab experience spread quickly through the academy. By the next morning, everyone knew about the Earth simulation and how the alien students had struggled with what Jin considered normal conditions. In the dining hall, students pointed and whispered when Jin walked by. "Is it true you live with dangerous animals all around you?" A small, fuzzy student asked Jin as he got his food. "Some places on Earth have dangerous animals," Jin explained, "but most cities are safe." Jin sat down with Hana and Minji. To his surprise, Doyen approached their table. "May I join you?" Doyen asked, his voice missing its usual arrogance. Jin nodded, and Doyun sat down carefully, as if afraid to make sudden movements. I've been researching Earth since yesterday, Doyen said. I found information about something called weather. Your planet's atmosphere changes constantly? Yes, Jin said. It can be sunny 1 hour and raining the next. Sometimes it rains for days. And these storms? Doyen continued. With lightning and thunder? They're common in many parts of Earth, Hana said. Some are mild, others can be dangerous. A new student approached their table. She had glowing, interconnected bodies that moved as one, a hive mind. Entity, I am Yuna, she said in a melodious voice. I find your planet fascinating. On my world, all conditions are stable and controlled. We never experience unexpected changes. As they talked, more students gathered around, asking questions about Earth. Jin answered patiently, though many seemed horrified by his responses. You mean you sleep for hours? Completely unconscious and vulnerable to predators? One asked. You eat other organisms that aren't specifically grown for consumption? Asked another. Your bones can break and then heal themselves? Jin hadn't realized how different human life was compared to other species. Many aliens came from worlds where evolution had taken different paths, or where advanced ancestors had engineered their planets to eliminate dangers. Later that day, Professor Taik asked Jin to stay after class. You've caused quite a stir, the professor said with a smile. Director Junho wants to continue the planet simulations as an expanded project. He thinks it has educational value. I didn't mean to cause trouble, Jin said. You haven't, Professor Taik assured him. In fact, you're teaching everyone an important lesson about biodiversity and adaptation. Many students here come from worlds with limited environmental challenges. They've never considered how difficulty shapes evolution. The next day, Director Junho announced a special series of VR simulations. Students would form teams and face survival scenarios from different planets. Jin, Hana, Minji, Doyen, and Yuna formed one team. Today's simulation will focus on basic Earth survival skills, announced technician Minho, who programmed the VR system. The scenario is, you have landed in a temperate forest and must find food, water, and shelter for 1 day. They entered the VR chambers. The forest appeared around them, much like in the previous simulation, but with more details. Bird sounds filled the air. Insects buzzed nearby. The afternoon sun filtered through green leaves. First, we need water, Jin said. Let's look for a stream or river. The team walked through the forest. The alien students moved cautiously, looking around nervously. There are so many different plants, Minji observed. How do you know which ones are safe? We learn, Hana explained. Some plants are edible, others are poisonous. Knowledge passes from generation to generation. They found a small stream. The water flowed clear over rocks. Is it safe to drink? Doyen asked, looking at the water suspiciously. It should be boiled first, Jin said. Stream water can contain bacteria. More microorganisms, Yuna said, her connected bodies shimmering with concern. They're everywhere on your planet. Yes, Jin agreed. That's why humans have strong immune systems. Jin showed them how to make a simple shelter using fallen branches and leaves. He demonstrated how to start a fire using friction, heating a small piece of wood until it smoked and caught flame. Fire! Minji exclaimed, backing away. Isn't it dangerous? If not controlled, Jin said. But it's essential for survival. It provides warmth, cooks food, purifies water, and keeps predators away. As simulated evening approached, the temperature dropped. Wind rustled through the trees. In the distance, an animal howled. What was that? Doyen asked, his gills flaring, in alarm. Probably a wolf, Jin said. They hunt at night. There are predators that hunt in darkness? Yuna asked, her multiple bodies clustering together in fear. Many Earth predators are nocturnal, Jin explained as he built up the fire. The fire will keep them away. The team huddled around the fire as night fell. Stars appeared in the simulated sky. Insects chirped in the darkness. Occasionally, rustling sounds came from the surrounding forest. On my world, Doyen said quietly, there are no predators. All life forms communicate and negotiate territory. Nothing hunts anything else. On my world, Minji added, we absorb energy directly from our sun. We don't need to consume other life forms. Our connected minds protect us from threats, Yuno said. We sense danger before it approaches. Jin nodded. Different worlds, different adaptations. Humans developed tools, weapons, and community to survive. Suddenly, the simulation changed. Dark clouds covered the moon and stars. Wind grew stronger. Rain began to fall. A storm is coming, Hana said. We need to secure the shelter. Lightning flashed across the sky, followed by a loud crash of thunder. Minji's silver skin paled. Yuna's body scattered in panic before reforming. Doyen covered his sensitive ears. This is normal, he shouted over the wind. Quite normal, Jin said, adding, branches to strengthen their shelter. Earth's weather changes quickly. The storm intensified. Rain fell harder. The wind bent trees. Lightning struck a distant tree, splitting it with a tremendous crack. The alien students were terrified. Minji trembled. Yuna's forms merged into a tight ball. Doyen crouched low, his eyes wide. Yet Jin and Hana worked calmly, improving their shelter, keeping the fire going despite the rain, and reassuring their teammates. When morning came in the simulation, the storm had passed. Sunlight broke through clouds. Birds sang again. The forest smelled fresh and clean. We survived, Minji said in wonder. Of course, Jin said with a smile. It was just a small storm. When they exited the VR chambers, other students waited eagerly to hear about their experience. Technician Minho looked at Jin with new respect. The storm was not programmed into the simulation, Minho confessed. I added it as a special challenge. I didn't think anyone would manage so well. It was nothing unusual for Earth, Jin said. Director, Junyo approached them. The medical team is concerned about continuing these simulations. Several students experienced elevated stress responses. We want to continue, Doyun said surprisingly. The tall amphibian looked at Jin. I need to understand how humans think, how they survive. Me too, Minji added. And us, Yuna's collective. Voices agreed. Jin smiled at his new friends. Earth has many challenges, but it's also beautiful. Perhaps that's what you should see next. Not just the dangers, but the wonders. As they walked away together, a student with multiple eye stalks stopped them. Is it true, the student asked Jin, that humans can run for hours without stopping? That you hunt by chasing prey until it collapses from exhaustion? Yes, Jin said. It's called persistence hunting. The alien students around them stared in amazement. Jin realized that what had always seemed normal to him was extraordinary to others. He was beginning to understand his own species in a new way, through the eyes of the galaxy. News about the Earth simulations spread throughout the entire academy. Students from all departments wanted to learn more about the strange death world that humans called home. Jin found himself constantly answering questions between classes. Is it true humans drink water containing microorganisms? Do you really expose your skin to radiation from your sun? How can you sleep knowing predators might be nearby? Jin answered patiently, though he still found it strange that what was normal for him seemed so extreme to others. One morning, Jin received a message from Director Junho requesting his presence in the medical bay. When he arrived, he found Dr. Jiwoo, the academy physician, waiting with several students who had participated in the Earth simulations. Jin, thank you for coming, Dr. Jiwoo said. She was a Korean woman with kind eyes and a calm voice. I've been examining the physical responses of students during the Earth simulations. The results are fascinating. She displayed a holographic chart showing different colored lines. These lines show stress hormone levels during the simulations, she explained. The red lines are from non-human students during the Earth scenario. Notice how they spike dramatically when the gravity increases or when weather changes occur. The lines jumped sharply at several points. And these blue lines show your readings, Jin, Dr. Jiwoo continued. Your stress levels remained almost flat throughout the simulation. Even during the storm, Jin shrugged. It just felt normal to me. That's exactly the point, Dr. Jiwoo said. What's normal for humans would be constant crisis for most species. I'd like to give a special lecture about human biology with your permission. I think it would help everyone understand why humans are unique. Later that day, the lecture hall was packed. Students from all years came to hear Dr. Jiwoo speak about human biology. Jin sat in the front row with Hana, Minji, Doyun, and Yuna. Dr. Jiwoo began with basic human anatomy, then moved to more complex topics. Human adaptability is their most remarkable trait, she explained. Their bodies can withstand incredible variations in temperature, air pressure, and environmental conditions. They can survive injuries that would kill most species. She showed images of human healing processes, cuts sealing, bones mending, immune cells fighting infections. The average human immune system fights off thousands of potential infections. Every day, she continued. Their bodies are constantly at war with microorganisms, yet they function normally despite this ongoing battle. A student raised a hand. How do they sleep? Aren't they vulnerable when unconscious? Humans developed community living for protection, Dr. Jiwoo explained. They take turns watching for danger. Even when sleeping, part of their brain remains alert to unusual sounds or movements. Another student asked, why didn't humans engineer their planet to be safer like most species did? Humans are relatively new to advanced technology, Dr. Jiwoo said. But more importantly, their relationship with their planet is different. Most species try to control their environment. Humans adapted to theirs. After the lecture, Professor Taik announced a new project. You will study not just how species evolved physically, but how their environments shaped their intelligence and technology. How did different challenges lead to different kinds of thinking? As students filed out, a tall, elegant female approached Jin. She wore a formal uniform with diplomatic insignia. Jin, I am Ambassador Nari, she said. I represent Earth in the Galactic Alliance. I heard about your simulations and wanted to meet you. Jin bowed respectfully. It's an honor, Ambassador. You've done a great service, Ambassador Nari said. Many species misunderstand humans because they don't grasp how Earth shaped us. Your demonstrations have helped change that. Jin noticed Doyun waiting nearby, looking uncomfortable. Excuse me, Ambassador, Jin said. My friend wants to speak with me. Ambassador Nari smiled and moved away. Jin approached Doyun. Jin, Doyun said, his voice quiet. I wish to apologize. I judged your species without understanding. I thought humans were weak because you're physically smaller than many species. I was wrong. It's okay, Jin said. I've learned a lot about other species, too. On my world, Doyun explained, physical strength isn't important because we have no predators or natural disasters. Instead, we value communication and harmony. I thought that made us superior, but now I see it's just a different path. Jin nodded. Different worlds, different challenges, different strengths. Over the next few weeks, Jin worked with Minji, Doyun, and Yuna on their project about environmental influences on intelligence. They discovered fascinating patterns. Species from stable environments tended to develop slower, more methodical thinking. They excelled at long-term planning and harmony but struggled with rapid change. Species from variable environments, like humans, developed quick adaptability and creative problem-solving, but sometimes lacked patience for lengthy processes. When they presented their findings, Professor Tyke was impressed. "This is excellent work," he said. "You've shown how different evolutionary pressures create different forms of intelligence, each with their own strengths." As the term ended, Jin received surprising news. His project had been selected for publication in the Academy's scientific journal. More importantly, he had been granted permission to bring 3 classmates to Earth during the break. "You can really take us to Earth?" Minji asked, her silver skin glowing with excitement. "Yes," Jin said. "My family has agreed to host you. You'll need special equipment since Earth's conditions are challenging for you, but it will be safe." "I never thought I'd voluntarily visit a death world," Doyon said, but he smiled. 2 weeks later, Jin, Hana, Minji, Doyon, and Yuna stood in the transport bay, ready to board the ship to Earth. "Remember your training," Technician Minho said as he checked their protective gear. "Stay in your environmental suits when outdoors. The gravity compensators will help with Earth's pull. And the filters will protect you from microorganisms." "We'll be fine," Jin assured him. "My family lives in a quiet area. No major predators or extreme weather is expected." The journey to Earth took 18 days. As they approached the blue planet, Jin's friends pressed against the viewport. "It's beautiful," Minji whispered. "So much water and land. So many different environments on one planet," Yuna's collective voices added. When they landed in Korea, Jin's family was waiting. His parents and younger sister greeted them warmly. "Welcome to Earth," Jin's father said. "We hope you enjoy your stay on our little death world." Their first week was filled with carefully planned activities. Jin's family took them to forests, beaches, and mountains, always with their protective gear. The aliens were amazed by Earth's diversity, its unpredictable weather, and its countless life forms. On their final evening, Jin's family hosted a barbecue in their backyard. As they were cooking meat over an open fire, a light rain began to fall. Jin's family simply moved the food under a shelter and continued cooking. They sat together, eating and talking as rain pattered around them. Minji, Doyon, and Yuna huddled under the shelter, watching the rain with a mixture of fear and wonder. "Your family just continues with their activities while water falls from the sky?" Doyon asked. "It's just rain," Jin's sister said with a laugh. "It happens all the time." "That's what makes humans special," Yuna said thoughtfully. "You live with constant change and danger, as if it's normal, because for you, it is." Jin looked at his alien friends and his human family sitting together under the same sky. Different species from different worlds, each shaped by their own evolutionary journey, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. "Maybe that's the greatest lesson," Jin said. "We're all products of our worlds. Understanding those differences helps us appreciate each other better." As lightning flashed in the distance and his alien friends flinched, Jin smiled. He had never felt prouder to be from Earth, a world that most of the galaxy called a death world, but that humans simply called home.